Triple H just made a decision that no one saw coming. Oba Femi, the dominant, unstoppable NXT champion, is reportedly being kicked out of WWE. This isn't a rumor, folks. Backstage sources are buzzing, and the reason behind this shocking move will blow your mind. Stay tuned because what we're about to reveal changes everything. What's up, wrestling family? Welcome back to Wrestling Region CC, your home for the latest WWE news, rumors, and everything happening inside the squared circle. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the biggest stories in professional wrestling. Trust me, you don't want to miss what we're covering today. Let's break down exactly what's happening with Oba Femi and Triple H. Before we get into the controversy, let's talk about how Oba Femi became one of the most dominant forces in NXT history. When Oba Femi first arrived in WWE's developmental brand, most fans didn't know what to expect. Standing at 6 feet 5 inches and weighing 270 pounds of pure muscle, Femi had the look that WWE traditionally loves. But it wasn't just his physique that caught everyone's attention, it was his in-ring ability, his charisma, and most importantly, his ability to connect with the NXT audience. Femi quickly established himself as a powerhouse in NXT, decimating opponents with his signature North Star press and showcasing a level of athleticism that's rare for someone his size. His feuds became must-see television, and his championship reign brought prestige back to the NXT North American Championship before he eventually captured the NXT Championship itself. For months, Oba Femi has been presented as an unstoppable force. He's beaten top-tier talent, dominated multi-man matches, and carried himself with the confidence of a future main eventer on Raw or SmackDown. Everything pointed to Femi being groomed for bigger things, a main roster call-up, championship opportunities, maybe even WrestleMania moments. So why would Triple H, the man who's been building NXT into a legitimate third brand and who hand-picks talent for success, suddenly want to kick out one of his most dominant champions? According to multiple wrestling insiders and backstage sources, there's been growing tension between Oba Femi and WWE management. Now, before we go further, it's important to note that WWE hasn't officially confirmed anything, and Oba Femi himself hasn't made any public statements about leaving the company. However, the rumor mill has been working overtime, and here's what's allegedly happening behind the scenes. The primary reason being reported for Triple H's potential decision revolves around attitude and professionalism. Multiple sources suggest that Femi has been difficult to work with backstage, showing up late to training sessions, being unprepared for certain segments, and displaying what some have called an inflated ego, despite being relatively new to the professional wrestling business. In an industry where veterans command respect and rookies are expected to pay their dues, any perception of entitlement can create serious problems. WWE is a company built on hierarchy, tradition, and respect for the business. If these reports are accurate, Femi may have violated some unwritten rules that Triple H takes very seriously. Another rumor circulating suggests that Femi has been resistant to certain creative directions pitched by WWE's writing team. We've seen this storyline before with other wrestlers, talented performers who believe they know better than the creative team and refuse to execute the vision that's been laid out for them. Triple H, as head of creative, has been praised for listening to talent and giving them more freedom than Vince McMahon's regime ever did. However, there's a difference between collaborative discussion and outright refusal. If Femi has been consistently pushing back against creative plans without constructive input, it could explain why the game is considering such a drastic move. A third possibility involves contract negotiations and financial demands. As Femi's star has risen, it's possible that he or his representatives have made significant demands for his next contract, demands that WWE management feels are premature given his relatively short tenure with the company. WWE has a history of releasing talent who they believe are pricing themselves out or making unreasonable demands. While they'll pay top dollar for proven main eventers, they're typically more cautious with developmental talent, even those who've shown tremendous potential. For those wondering if Triple H would really kick out such a promising talent, let's look at his track record and philosophy. Triple H has always been about building a locker room culture based on respect, hard work, and professionalism. If he lets one performer get away with problematic behavior, it sets a dangerous precedent for everyone else. By making a bold decision with Femi, he'd be sending a clear message: talent alone isn't enough. You need the right attitude to succeed in WWE. WWE's locker room is full of veterans who've paid their dues and young talent looking to learn and improve. If Femi's behavior has been disruptive or disrespectful to others, Triple H might view his removal as necessary to protect the positive culture he's been building since taking over creative control. Triple H has often spoken about how WWE's system works: developmental talent comes through NXT, learns the WWE style, respects the process, and earns their way to the main roster. If Femi is trying to shortcut that system or believes he's above it, the game might view this as a threat to the entire developmental structure he's spent years perfecting. If this decision actually happens, the consequences would be massive for multiple parties involved. Getting released from WWE could be either devastating or liberating for Femi's career. On one hand, he'd lose the platform, exposure, and resources that only WWE can provide. On the other hand, he'd become one of the most sought-after free agents in professional wrestling, with companies like AEW, NJPW, and the independent scene ready to showcase his talents. WWE would be losing a dominant champion and box office attraction. NXT would need to quickly pivot and build a new top star to fill the void Femi would leave. However, WWE has proven time and again that they're bigger than any one performer, and they've successfully moved on from countless talented wrestlers throughout their history. This would send ripples throughout the entire roster. Every wrestler, from rookies to veterans, would understand that no one is untouchable if they don't maintain the right attitude and professionalism. This could either inspire performers to step up their game or create anxiety about job security. Before we conclude, let's consider some alternative possibilities. Wrestling is built on blurring the lines between reality and storyline. Could this entire situation be an elaborate work designed to generate buzz and create an authentic storyline for Femi? WWE has done stranger things, and controversy always draws eyeballs. Rather than outright releasing Femi, Triple H might opt for a suspension or disciplinary action that serves as a wake-up call. This would allow Femi to course-correct his behavior while preserving WWE's investment in his development. It's entirely possible that cooler heads prevail and Triple H works directly with Femi to address whatever issues exist. Triple H has mentored countless wrestlers throughout his career, and he might view this as an opportunity to teach Femi valuable lessons about longevity in the wrestling business. For us, the WWE Universe, this situation highlights the complex reality behind the wrestling we love. We see the athleticism, the storytelling, and the spectacle, but we sometimes forget about the business decisions, personality conflicts, and backstage politics that shape what we see on our screens. If Oba Femi does leave WWE, we'll all wonder what could have been. If he stays and turns things around, we might witness a redemption story that's even more compelling than his in-ring dominance. As of right now, nothing is confirmed. Oba Femi remains NXT Champion, and we haven't heard any official announcement from WWE or Triple H about his status. However, where there's smoke, there's often fire, and the amount of chatter surrounding this situation suggests something is definitely happening behind the scenes. Whether Triple H actually goes through with kicking out Oba Femi remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: this story reminds us that success in WWE requires more than just talent and physical gifts. It requires respect, professionalism, and the ability to work within the system while still standing out. What do you think about this situation? Do you believe Triple H would really kick out someone with Oba Femi's potential? Is this the right move if the rumors are true, or should WWE work harder to resolve whatever issues exist? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one and love hearing from you all. And remember, wrestling family, if you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, share this video with fellow wrestling fans, and subscribe to Wrestling Region CC for more breaking news, analysis, and everything happening in the world of professional wrestling. Until next time, keep watching, keep wrestling, and I'll see you in the next one.